Hope you're all still awake. Late Night Mega here. And between parts, well, we're going to go down the other side, so you're going to see the mirror image of the side that I traveled off screen. But what I found on the other side was, most notable thing, I found a treasure that had the Dispel spell in it. So that's kind of nice. What Dispel does is it gets rid of all buffs on an enemy. So, like, haste, it'll get rid of their haste, shell, protect. It'll get rid of their, it'll even pierce reflect and get rid of reflect as well. So that's really nice. I'm sure we're going to use that because a lot of the bosses, and especially some of the hunts, seem to come like preloaded with protect and shell and things of that nature. Another thing I did is I put a tourmaline ring on Bosch to make him immune to poison and sap, mainly for poison. I think I got poisoned, Bosch specifically got poisoned a couple times off screen as well. I just kind of got annoyed by that whole thing. So yeah, I'm going to make him immune to that. I should only need it on Bosch since he's the party leader right now. And that's who, you know, these zombies are targeting right away when Bosch goes up and, you know, slashes them. It makes sense. Yeah, so we come across the top here and go through this door. Yeah, so we're now on the opposite side of things, going after the other waystone thing that we need to activate. Or just the other dungeon device we need to activate to get to where we need to go. And these are lesser chimeras. They're more rolling birds. Those don't even look like the chimeras of old. That's... Okay, so bowling ball birds can now be cockatrices and chimeras. Compare them with their, I don't know, any other Final Fantasy game sprites that came before this. Like Final Fantasy IV, compare the cockatrices and the chimeras to those big rolling birds that you guys see. Okay. And, well, that's all my notes. My notes for the next part are one whole line long. That's okay. Who needs them? We'll just make stuff up as we go. Oh, that guy's got protect. Why does he have protect on? That's rude. They're still taking quite significant damage, even with the protect. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel that it's... Protect and shell are super effective in this game. I feel like those buffs... I mean, you do see an actual reduction in damage, but I don't feel like it's a huge amount to make that big of a difference. Not like other games where we have protect and shell or similar type of abilities. Specifically, I'm thinking of like Final Fantasy I and the Ultra Championship Edition, the hack of Final Fantasy I that we did. Yeah, in that game, buffs that increased your defense or magical resistance, those were really good there. But, okay, we have a Lich that appeared in front of us. And he's dead already. So, yeah, Lich... I don't know if that's like an intentional throwback to the Fiend from Final Fantasy I, the Earth Fiend. But he's just a normal enemy here, but, yeah, I'm not sure if that's what the designers had in mind when they named that enemy. I would think if they were going to do a throwback to that Lich, the Elemental Archfiend Lich, that is, that they would have, it would be some sort of boss or optional boss, or even a hunt. Okay, we've got more skeleton-type thingies. Oh, that one has shell on. Which I really don't care about that. Because we're not even using magic. I like that little poke there. He just, like, poked with the spear and then he fell over. So anyways, yeah, a lot of the same or similar enemies. We had a couple. We had that Lich. That was new. We've got these angry little teapots. You know, sometimes I gotta wonder, like, those teapot enemies. How did they come about? I know I'm trying to apply like real-world logic and physics to this, but like, what did the teapots have? You know, families? Do they mate and multiply and things like that? How does any of that work? I mean, we know how it works with animals and people, but monsters? Think about that with some of the monsters, and not just this game either, but like any game, and it just seems really weird. Or maybe they just have like you know, self-replicating reproduction where they don't need to have anyone else. They can just, you know, split themselves. There's actually some enemies that do that in this game. But those are like the ghost type enemies, so it makes sense that they can do that anyways. Or the flans. The flans can do that. I guess that's how we get more flans. How did we get the first flan, though? Okay, I'm thinking way too much into this. We're too desperate for things to talk about. Okay, more chimeras that aren't really chimeras. Well, they are lesser chimeras. So, yeah, he's less than a chimera. Alright, we want to cure the petrification, because apparently the lesser chimeras can do that. But we have ways of fixing that. We couldn't steal from Lich. Lich-E. Lich-E? That sounds kind of funny. Okay, that teleporting is really annoying, because I couldn't... I mean, all my characters were taking their actions and stuff while he was teleporting, but they weren't hitting him. And then they had to wait until their bar refilled. Hey, triple treasures again. I like triple treasures, and of course the treasures are mocking me with the whole pulling out the sword thing and all that. Hey, we got another level up. Bosch is level 18. Okay, I'm gonna switch after we get rid of these enemies here. We can't switch party members while they're targeting us. And the effectiveness of Fran's level 5 armor, it's pretty diminished by this point. Enemy levels and power and you know, other people's levels and power and stats have kind of caught up to that. I mean, it's still better than the other mystic armor we could have for her right now, but not by much. So, sad to say, Fran can no longer be our physical tank. Oh boy. Oh, I got Penelo a bunch of Gambit slots because I was kind of tired of not having them. So you can kind of see there. So I have it set up, and you can do this too. There's a couple unforeseen benefits I found from this, and I'll go ahead and explain those. So basically, if an enemy is weak to fire, Penelo is going to cast fire. If an enemy is weak to water, she's going to cast water. And she's going to do all those things before just her normal action, which will be just casting fire. So I guess if she casts fire, it's either because an enemy is weak to it, or it's not weak to anything else. And I'll change around that last slot depending on, you know, what I want. So yeah, this is a great way we can use to detect enemy weaknesses even without Libra, and even detect bosses' elemental weaknesses without Libra, or doing online research, but I'm attempting to keep that as minimal as I can. I don't like having to do a bunch of online research to get through a game, or to get information that I feel is necessary for my adventure throughout the game, to understand things. Stupid teleporting Lich. I'll just use sap. Did it use sap? I saw a sap appear on the screen. I don't know, all my HP seems fine. Alright. More roly-poly chimeras. So yeah, you can see there Pinello automatically used the water. So, yeah, and when I set up those gambits, I had no idea that it would actually work on, they would help you detect the weaknesses of bosses. So if the boss is weak to wind, you'll know that because she's going to start casting arrow on it. And that's a really nice way to kind of get around the whole bosses that can't be detected by a Libra thing. Nice way to find weaknesses. Of course, if they're weak to something like Earth, Dark, or Holy that she doesn't have, well, we're not going to know which element they'd be weak to still, but we know which ones they're not weak to. This is a lot of liches. Yeah, I want an AoE spell, so I'm going to use the arrow there with Pinello. At least once. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Alright, we touch the thing, because that's what we do in dungeons. We go in there and touch a bunch of ancient stuff to activate things. You know, you don't have to solve complicated puzzles or anything. You don't have to reach something that's, you know, hard to reach. You just have to walk up to some little important statue or altar and touch a thing, and then stuff activates and you can go further. Well, this is an interesting place.
Fog? Underground?
Not fog. Mist.
You can see the mist with your eyes?
Well, can't you?
Where it is thick enough, you may.
The
nether runs deep in this place.
Never mind, I misunderstood what Pinel was saying.
So,
Ignore
is
me.
The mist dangerous?
Yes, but it is also an aid. A dense mist allows the working of powerful magics.
I'll keep that
The way
in mind.
Fran talks. Magics.
Can't count on Vaughn to keep track of these things. That's for sure.
Why are we taking shots at Vaughn for no real reason here? Really, Pinello? I'm gonna keep track of this whole mist thing can let us use powerful magics because Vaughn isn't going to because he's incompetent. Well, okay, I guess you can actually make a case for that, especially given the whole, hey, no using names here. 2 minutes later, okay, Vosh. Again, I'm glad we have a fast forward / run feature, so I don't have to deal with that silliness. Yeah, and that would just take us out to the other symmetrical side. But down here, I feel like there's a boss battle coming. Okay, post-commentary me knows that there's a boss battle coming. But, ooh, a treasure. And given the symmetry, there's probably one on the opposite side of this. So we're going to go around and go get that. I like the sound everyone's running makes while they're moving this fast. Interesting. Ooh, a blood sword. That's a really interesting treasure. Let's check it out. Blood sword. It's actually weaker than what we have right now. But it causes sap. And we need the blood sword license. Well, we don't have that either. So, okay. I'm gonna ignore it. After I find the blood sword license. Yeah, I thought it was down here in this corner. And that's still... I mean, I could probably get it. I have a lot of license points, but like I said, I want to stock up on license points right now. Although we're almost at the point where we're done being able to stock up for the thing I was stocking up for. And the thing is here where we need to spend license points, but not before talking to this guy. Well, he seems friendly. Okay, okay, I won't compliment you. And different boss battle music again. I think it's different. I don't know. There's too many different boss battle musics. This is Belias. Belias? Belias? He's a giant fire gigas. We're gonna use Shell. We're gonna get some buffs on people. I remember this boss giving me some degree of challenge in the PS2 version when I played it. Alright, so yeah, we got Shell on. Wow. Someone just hit for a lot of damage. Oh, that was Pinello with Aqua. Yeah, fire-type things aren't really weak to ice in this Final Fantasy. They're more weak to water, since we do have separate water and ice elements. So that is something to take note of. Well, let's just keep getting Shell on people. Wow, 5-hit combo. Nice, Vossler. He's gonna use Saber. Get away from him. Alright, we gotta get some curing going on here. Mainly for Vaughn. Look at that, 701 for her Cura. Greater Barrier readies Faraja. That's like level 4, like Curaja. Like, oh, that Belias has some passive buffs on him. I should use that to Dispel Magic. But right now, Faraja is gonna do some hurting to us. Okay, stop, freeze. Okay, so I got Ash using Dispel. Pinel's using Aqua. We need to get rid of this oil because we can't have that kind of stuff with a fire type boss going on. That'll just get us killed really quickly. Alright, so Faraja does some damage to everyone. Okay, we got Cura going. Wow, I'm really impressed by Ash's healing abilities there. Alright, and Ash, what is Ash even doing? I mean, it says she's attacking, but she's nowhere near. Oh, she is near the. Okay, that's Pinello that's off to the side. Okay. Okay, that one was totally on me. Hey, this thing's almost dead. Oh, now it is dead. I hope. You don't have a second form, do you? No, it does not have a second form. Ooh, what's this? Okay, the game will explain it. You obtained the Esper, Belias the Gigas. Alright, so it's an Esper. It's one of the summons
in vain glory
we
they arose,
can get.
shouting challenges at the gods, but prevail they did not. Their doom it was to walk the mist until time's end. A legend of the Nemo.
My family tells a story of the Dynast King and an Esper. The story goes that in his youth, the Dynast King defeated a mighty Gigas, for which the gods took heed of him. Thereafter, it was ever bound to him in thraldom.
And now it's bound to us.
So, all this time it's been here guarding the Dynast King's treasure?
Not so. The Esper is the Dynast King's treasure.
That's your treasure?
In this
I like
Esper
Balthier's
we now
reaction. She's like,
command rests a
that's the
power whose
treasure?
worth is
I
beyond
can't
any
sell
measure."
that.
Is that so? Call me old-fashioned, but I was hoping for a treasure whose worth we could measure.
Oh, I love Balthier's lines. Alright, so that's not the only thing that, well, okay, so how espers work in this game is any character can get an esper on their license board. However, once you get that esper for that particular character, you cannot get it for any other character. That's going to be important. But Elias also grants us something else, too. Something that I've been saving, or stockpiling some license points for. I'm not touching that waystone yet. Something that we're going to get into after this cutscene. There it is, the Dawn Shard.
What's wrong? Your Majesty, we must go.
No, we're here to grab that thing. That's what we came here for. We're gonna get it. Like, he waits until we're right in front of it, and he's like, oh, no, don't get that. Let's go.
What?
Like, really? If you wanted to stop us from doing that, you should have said something long before we even entered this dungeon. Hey, that's,
Rassler.
That's Rassler. Yeah, that's his name. That was, Ash's very short-lived husband. Well, they were married for a short time. And Vaughn can see him too. Interesting. But no one else can. Nope. You can look, but you can't touch.
You will be avenged.
Alright, are we gonna grab the stone? Oh, there we go. We got the Dawn Shard. Alright. I like the music here. It's kind of like some neat end of like major dungeon victory music. Read the inscription. The Hall of the Destroyer is where we want to go to. Don't worry, that's just a place where we've been. Yep, we're just back here at the beginning now. And yeah, I want to go out and save it. No, we have things to do before we save it. Although past gameplay, we might just save it anyways before doing the things. Alright, there we go. The license board for the Esper. Yep, so that's just explained to you what I've already explained about what happens when you get the Espers. The second license board license has been added to everyone's license board. So what you can do with this is you can activate this thing to get a second license board. You can get a second job to all the characters. It costs 30 license points. That... oh. We have to get something next to it. So yeah, we are going to do that. And so we are going to get secondary jobs for everyone. I'm going to try to use, well actually I am going to use all 12 jobs. Now I mentioned 2 jobs that Vera remind me of. One being the Red Battle Mage, the second being Archer. So yes, Fran is a Red Battle Mage Archer. Balthier. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you on this part all of the jobs I'm going to get for everyone else. But I'm going to go into those license boards and get a bunch of licenses spend all my license points off screen. Balthier is going to be Ulan and Time Battle Mage. And I'm going to have a bonus video. It'll be about 10-ish minutes long, just going over all the stuff that I got with the license points. I'm going to take some time and just, get familiar with the other 6 license boards, and then figure out how I want to spend license points that I've been stockpiling. For Vaughn, he's going to get Foebreaker to go with Shikari. Alright, so we got 3 characters left, 3 more jobs to stick on people. I'm just taking a brief glimpse here at the Foebreaker board. There's what it looks like. So yeah, I'm going to come back and I'm going to have that as a bonus part. I'm going to upload it, well, the same day I upload this. So if you want to see, my overall plan for each character and their license boards and what I'm going to be doing with them in the near future, what the goals are as far as like what licenses to get and all that, you're going to want to check that part out. If you're not really into that, or if you miss the video or you don't want to see 12 minutes of that or whatever, then feel free to skip it and just go right to part 27. You're not going to miss any plot stuff or anything like that. So, yeah, I'm just taking a quick peek at the license boards here. Another thing you'll note is that for some abilities like the passive buffs, the swiftness, the channeling, things like that, if you got those on one license board, they'll already be active on another license board. It's not that you're going to get double of those buffs or anything, but basically it provides some interesting places that you can travel to when you combine the 2 license boards or the 2 jobs on the character. Especially with some of those licenses that you can see that are kind of outside of our range. There's like blank spaces, we can't get to them. But some of them you're going to find that you actually can get to certain ones depending on the jobs and the licenses you have for another job. I'll give you an example. There might be a swiftness that unlocks that we unlocked for one job, and on the second job that swiftness would have been behind one of those blocked off passages, and it might connect to some other abilities that were also blocked off. So that's going to be interesting. Okay, Bosch, he is going to be a Knight and Bushi. And Ash is going to be a White Mage. Now, I did do some research as to the jobs and like their general properties and stuff. I didn't go like super in depth and look at all the license boards and that before making these decisions, but I did actually had this decided from the get-go of the game that I wanted these job combinations. So Ash is going to be White Mage and Machinist. You might think it's kind of odd that I'm not going to be combining a White Mage and Black Mage in this, since you guys know I love the Sage type class, someone who's proficient in both White and Black magic. But I think there's going to be somewhat of a solution for this. I'll be showing that off in the bonus video as well. So that leaves one job left, and that is Black Mage and Monk for Pinello. That's interesting. So my Black Mage can now punch stuff in the face. Well, she's probably still not going to be doing that, but okay.